electric machines, I always like to start very, very basic, so I'm not going to spend much time on this, but torque, as the definition, is force times distance times the sine of theta, but what that really means is you're measuring a twisting force. How much is a shaft twisting to get power to the wheels? And it turns out that the torque is actually fairly difficult to measure, especially when you compare it to its mechanical counterpart in speed. You can look at a wheel and say, that wheel is going at 100 RPM. It's really hard to look at a shaft and say there's 100 Newton meters on that shaft. If you can, please get in touch with me. I'd love to hear how. But what we end up doing, and in the bottom right-hand corner of our screen, we have one of our HBM torque cells measuring torque on a shaft. And there's a constant air gap between that black ring and this chunk of metal. And this rotor, this chunk of metal that HBM provides, is just a very fancy piece of iron that has strain gauges built into it. And we actually do measure how much the iron twists. And from this twist, we can give you a torque value. So it's very cool how torque is measured. And one important thing about torque is it often comes in pulses. This being pistons firing, this being magnetic pulses or ripples, which we're going to talk about in some depth. But there's not just a static torque hardly ever. It's a very rare thing that you get a free weight on a displacement. So HBM offers full courses on torque. I won't belabor that too much longer.